Welcome to this week's edition of the Bros Show Live, episode 31. What's going on, everybody? How's it going on out there?
Pretty damn good. I got some of that GG4 by Spartan Glue right here. I mean, couldn't say be doing any better.
Yeah, I had a good time hanging with Abolish today. That was pretty cool. That skunk, I'm gonna have to get a cut of that, man. That skunk was, and then Red's was Sour D, wasn't it, that I smoked? That
Yeah.
I was surprised. I went in there totally sober, and I think there's the first blunt we smoked was Sour D, and I was already feeling it, and that never happens.
That's like the most unique pheno of Sour D that I've like tasted. Like it doesn't have the sour part to it; it's all the other parts. It's wild.
Yeah, he's just getting back to the computer. He didn't get to hear any of his compliments. So we'll just go ahead and move on, pass to the next person now.
What are you smoking on over there right now, Abolish? We'll go around the horn with that while we're waiting for Sequence to be able to come back online for us.
Like I was saying, is Spartan's Gorilla Glue 4. This is the legit cut right here. Got this from Med One, which got it from Josie Wales, right? Got all those names right?
I think there was a step in there, Mr. Tight. I was in there. I think Med got it from Mr. Tight.
But yeah, I got to grow this one too, and it was fire. And this one that I got from you is actually finished. It's amazing, man. It's waking me up after the blue cough that about put me to sleep before the damn show.
There he is. What's up, Sequence?
Sorry about that. I plugged in my headphones when I had Zoom on. No go. Had to restart the computer. So
it's always something, isn't it?
I'm gonna pull up YouTube and all that stuff and see the comments.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for starting this thing. I appreciate it. Has everyone done introductions so far?
No, we're working our way around. We were doing a little smoke thing with Abolished. So we can go around the horn from there. We can go right down to Eagle Gardens. Eagle, it's great to see you again. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Glad to be here again this week. This time came up way too fast, probably because it's my favorite time of the week. And just looking forward to hearing everybody's updates and a little bit about Deb Smith and Kate's adventure today on their cast. Let's hear a little bit about that. Other than that, just glad to be here. Thanks.
All right. Welcome. And Spartan, we're going to slide over to you. You're going to make a weird gear shift pattern on my screen.
Okay. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm smoking blue cough right now, which I was happy to go visit Abolished with and gift him some. I had a great harvest of GG4. It broke a record for a plant record for me. I got 8.5 ounces.
Holy shit. And that in 4x4?
I have 4 plants in a 4x4. That was one plant of the 4.
Oh,
yeah. And then my blue cough, she yielded 6 ounces and like 2 ounces or something like that. But both of them came out like super terpy this time. So
it sounds like when you switched over them lights, you seem to really be cranking it out, not just in weight, but also in the terps. Good job, brother.
This go around, I thought I over vegged the hell out of them. They got way too tall, so I had to dim the light way down. And I don't know, I had really good results, so it made me think, I wonder if I could duplicate that. So, but yeah, I'm really happy so far.
Excellent. I'm glad you're here. Red, we're going to go to you next. How's it going, brother?
Doing great tonight, everybody. What's happening? I'm rolling up some Rosaberry tonight. I've been smoking on some Flow dry sift just about all day, so I want to tone it down a little bit, put some CBD in me, and get back to the hash. So cheers,
Get that
everybody.
cocoa, man. Get that cocoa going, brother.
Actually, I brewed up a little bit of coffee tonight. Got some coffee in the old owl.
Wow.
Who in the chat is scared that he has coffee? The last person that needs coffee on this fucking stream is you, bro.
It's a good
Keep
point.
it light. I keep it light. It's not heavy.
I second that.
And then let's move over to Kate. Welcome. How you doing tonight, Kate? Good to see you as always.
I'm good. I, full disclosure though, had a lot of edibles today, so we'll see how that goes.
Had a lot of feedback there for a minute.
Nice save.
Yeah.
Nice save. And we're gonna bring it all the way back around the horn to my co-host and great friend Sequence. How you doing tonight, bro? I see you working through it, man.
Working through it. I got the chat pulled up. I can't see how many people are watching. Hundreds, I'm sure. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, smoking crescendo now, so it's all uphill from here. Or downhill? How would you say that? It's getting better from here. John said Red's getting ready to start juggling.
Just a second. Right now, I got 2 hands full of weed and papers, but if you guys want to see me juggle, maybe I'll have to start juggling. We'll see.
You're all muted there, Skilbo. We can't hear you, bud.
What's that, Scobo? I see your lips moving.
I'm a dumbass and having my own technical difficulties. I was thinking that, you know, like the old cartoons or comic books where they would have like the action, like background behind somebody. That one behind you is really, really dope. And it totally looks like action adventure, like you're just going to bounce off the wall, like the new Sonic movie or something, man. So just a high observation. That's all, folks.
I just wanted
guess
to
if you
comment
hadn't
on there.
noticed-
I'm really loving Abolish's new view. He looks like a producer with the new view. He's got Slave Leia in the background, and then all of us in the Brady Bunch view.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to comment on. I was going to say his new studio had me inspired to dig into my old tapestry inventory and pull out something that fit the scene.
Well, to me, it
Dig it
reminds
too.
me almost like an altered GML view. Do you guys remember when GML used to do like the strictly behind view a long ass time ago?
Doesn't
When
he
he
still
did,
do that?
yeah. I don't know if he still does that or not.
I
He
kind of
does.
only sometimes pop in. So
Yeah.
He does.
I just remember the old videos from like, was it like probably 4 or 5 years ago now, where he opens up with the Force and he's like throwing the pots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I usually
Shout
catch
out,
the
shout
show
out to,
every week, man.
GML show and the crew over there, man.
Oh yeah, it's cool
People
because
watching us on security footage.
you can see what's going on the production side. Like what's Abolish looking at?
Reddit said you look like you're a peacock. Thoughts?
Ooh,
A peacock cock
Peacocks are
cock, a
pretty cool.
peacock cock.
I was gonna say more
Psychedelic.
like a
That's what I think.
thing there. Like he's got
Peacocks are psychedelic.
holding the rays of light going out.
Yeah, it looks like a piece of stained glass, like the saints, and they draw them with the rays coming off of their heads.
It's a basic mandala. I like it. I can dig a mandala.
I see Sequence is getting that good first cough in off it too, man. That stuff,
Yeah, you know.
it's super, super smooth, man, but it just hits so right, man. Oof.
Well, you got to cough to get off. They said.
Okay, speaking of coughing, I read something super interesting because I was wondering why I get dab sweats, right? Or why anybody gets dab sweats. So I started looking it up, and apparently it's something to do with like when you're coughing, it like deprives the rest of your body of oxygen. So your body essentially responds like you're working out. So that's why you get sweaty. of the
Because
lack of
I'm
oxygen.
dying. That's why
Yeah.
I was.
So dabbing is good cardio. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, that's what my point is that now I consider it exercise.
Probably number 3 after like Olympic swimming and sex. Look at Red's face. All right, so we got to come with some kind of topic for something going on here. What do we want to talk about tonight, guys? What's interesting out there?
I think it's fair to lead with the grow off. We should announce that we're shipping the first like 25 packages. I think Tuesday. I think Monday is a postal holiday, but Tuesday they'll all go out. And we have more. They'll ship as people enter. You're free to enter until the end of the month. So you have about 2 more weeks. We're growing femmes, so you have plenty of time to pheno hunt the plants and meet with us in July. The Dab House is super awesome. They hosted us multiple times so far this year and really showed us a good time. So I think you guys will like it. Abolish is showing off the pack right here. I'll spotlight his video while I talk. Even better. We're really excited about growing the strain, pineapple Thai and sour strawberry. We've had a lot of comments on our chat so far saying that the chat alone is worth the price of admission with all the knowledge that's been dropped in there and just the fun we have every day. So that's a good part of it too.
Lots of knowledge, but it was really cool that I did see that comment drop that the chat was worth price of the admission, and we were having a lot of fun during that moment. So I think that was definitely in regards to all the fun that chat is, because you're right. A lot of knowledge too, man. I love it. It's great. I appreciate all you Groskis for signing up and getting involved in this, because it is really cool to build this community. It's pretty important too. I dig it.
It's really the best
We've
part.
had a
of the
lot of
community.
people enter that were involved in abolished frugal force as well. So he's done a lot of recruiting on his end of things. I would say probably half Groskis and half frugal force people. And I know there's a lot of overlap there, but people from his chat and his network have definitely joined in.
Shout out to them. I hope you guys just destroy out there, you Jedi and Sith users.
Yeah, now we're just gonna have a new term to just combine the whole force as one, right?
Hey, and just so we don't skip past it, let's talk about what you guys covered on the Frugal Force on Saturday's show for anybody that's looking for some more cannabis content that they can watch.
We went over auxins and cytokinins, which I mean, we can sit here and go over the whole thing, or I have everybody watch it, but it's the episode itself open.
What are auxins and cytokinins abolished?
Auxins are basically what's inside your plants, and like it's what makes it go towards the light. It's not that your plant is searching out the light when it's stretching. It's that one side is getting hit with light, and it's making the auxins weaker and slow down. And the other side that's in the shade, the auxins are flowing, so it'll make it go one way.
And doesn't it also have to do with damage to the plant? Like if I pinch it when it's in veg, doesn't that also do something with the auxins?
Well, yeah, that would come in with the topping. I like to think of it like a water system that's not hard piping, but like a soft piping. You know, you pinch it in one area, it'll eventually come back to there. But for the moment there, it's like, you know, it's not flowing. But eventually the pressure will build up and it'll pop up there again.
Yeah, both of them, the auxins and the gibberellins, are both just plant hormones. So, and the auxins are produced right at the plant or the shoot tips, that they'll say it.
The
And
very tips.
yeah, and then it's kind of like a yin yang relationship with the cytokinins, and then the cytokinins are produced in the root tips. And so, yeah, the auxins, they do many things, but one of the things is it gives it the phototropy, which is to be able to, what makes it look like the plant's following the sun, but it's just that the sun is actually degrading the auxin on the sun side, just like Abolish explained. I won't go through it again. But at the same time, auxins in the roots work reverse, so that it keeps the roots in the ground. The light actually pushes it away from the light, or the light, the lack of auxins pushes it away from the light, and it goes back into the ground. So
Definitely cannabis as like a high-powered engineered machine for sure.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there hasn't caught that yet, we don't want to rob you of the content and already work that they've already put in on this, but definitely go check that out for sure.
Yeah,
Other
it'll
side,
make
just the
you
tips.
it'll make you overthink training after watching that episode. That's what it's done to me.
Eagle,
That
I
in
want
a
to
sense
say
of
thank
like
you for fighting through it, man. I see you've jumped in and out of here like 8 times already, and I appreciate you still being here and still trying. I love
For
you,
sure.
bro.
So, like in
Man,
a sense, we
it's
were
hard.
talking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eagle.
So hard to believe I had the Frontier guy out here this week to check everything.
Did you
Give
kick
me
his
a
ass?
new modem.
he is like our perfect bi-weekly announcement for Frontier Internet. It's just great press.
And
Man.
still having this problem. I just ran through the house and did an internet check. Who's on? Who's
2000s problems, right?
Give me your Frontier guy's cell number, Red Eagle.
We need to throw that dude a pack or something.
I'm gonna mail him a bag of dicks.
I appreciate you guys for putting up with it. That's for sure.
Oh
Dude,
man,
it's all love,
when,
man.
when you're here and when you have a good service and a good connection, you always bring the knowledge. That's what's great. It's worth it.
Get Spartan over there. This little
Hey.
bougie fucking hemp wick. I see you.
You
Hey,
jinxed
man.
it. Look at now he's gone.
Chasing the terps, chasing the terps. I'm doing the low temp bong hits while you're over there doing those low temp dabs.
I can appreciate that.
Cold start.
I did a low temp dab of sour grapes by Medusa Labs. Shout out to those guys. I'm not sure if they watch our show. I picked up their stuff at the dab house with my brother. He was like, "Wow, that tasted really good." And it was because I got the dab so cold that it was just the terps at first, and then after that I reheated it and we got baked off of it. But just that terpy dab is so good.
Does anybody else dry hit their joints before they fire them up? Like if you share it?
Man, that's
Okay.
all custom. I think all the old hippies do that.
Yeah, man. Some
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't. Some people don't.
Remember
They're
when you
like,
used to have to pass a joint around the circle and everybody would look at it before you lit it?
of
Nobody
course.
does that anymore.
I have to
I've-
smell the jar every time
done-
I open it, even though it's my weed and I know what it smells like. I gotta smell it
I love
before
you,
I close it. I gotta dry hit the joint. I gotta look at it and make sure I'm touching it enough when I'm rolling it. I love my weed, man.
On
I'll
that
walk
note,
around.
I'm smoking some Blue Nana from one of our other panel members. Shout out to Old Man Herman Hash, wherever you are tonight.
Yeah, shout out, old
Love
man.
you, old man.
Love you, dude.
Yeah,
miss
miss
you.
you, buddy.
But speaking on that, I actually walk around the house with just an unlit one sometimes and just breathe through it. And Miss C is like, "You gonna light that thing?"
When you started that and said I started off by walking around the house, I was almost going to stop you for some NSFW stuff. Like, whoa. We don't need to hear how you walk around the house, bro.
Sure you do.
All his windows are boarded up. Just remember that. How do all you guys train your plants? Speaking of training and auxins and things, let's simplify it. How do you guys how's everybody just do like their normal bonsai
Like
technique? What do you guys
early
do?
veg training? Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
do you guys just like let your seeds grow and just do a single meristem? Do you do any topping? Do you do any anything?
Dude, I constantly fuck with the plants when they're in veg. I just get to the point where I leave them alone after like the third week in flower.
It depends on the situation. I'm normally backed up. I have like clones and stuff waiting for beds or rooms, whatever you will, and I'll just train basically on that. But if I don't have to do any like special stipulations or anything like that, I really don't even like to top. Honestly, I just let them go up and I'll do like hard cropping on it and stuff like that to get the structure I want. Because I can super crop main cola like a hard like right down the middle, like where most people be scared they'll snap their main stem in half, and that'll give me the same structure as topping, if not quicker, and I still keep my my main cola there.
I'm a big time pincher, man. I'm always beating those bitches up with that all the time. And I make sure that I keep some really good, like either Arby's straws or like Starbucks straws and stuff so you can cut the piece that you need for when you pinch them so hard that they like flop over. So then you just cut a seam in the straw so that you put it as like a splint around it and rock and roll from there.
That is a great pro tip. I like that.
Dude. You
That's
do
excellent.
like triage on them, man. I just hook them
Oh,
up with
yeah.
a bit of duct tape when it's too bad.
Well, I used to do that, but here's the beautiful thing is, okay, so you can like reverse these. So what I'm saying is take a straw and cut it to the size that you need to go in between as a perfect splint, and then split that straw, lengthwise so that it'll go around. And if you need a second one,
Think of the turtle, Skilbo.
What's that?
Think of the turtles giving the straw advice. That's all I have to
Oh.
say.
Well, there you keep it in the garden, folks. Don't fucking throw it in any of the Great Lakes. There you go. That's our PSA.
Hey,
for the night.
remember the 7 or I
And
don't
actually,
I don't know, the
wait a
slushy
minute. Hold
straw?
on. I'm upcycling,
Spoon.
motherfucker. So get off me.
Do we have
Hey.
any turtles in the Great Lakes? I'm completely ignorant to that. I know we have turtles in ponds and stuff, but I mean, do we have like any big turtles in the Great Lakes?
I like turtles.
Any
I like turtles.
biologists on the panel?
I would imagine that we do, and I would imagine that they are in the
We
like,
have
creeks.
we have
and the
cannabis
streams that
knowledge on
come
this
off of the
panel,
Great
not
Lakes,
terrapin
but I
knowledge.
wouldn't I don't think that they're out there
Cannibal, is that what you
swimming
just
in
said
the
to me?
open water.
Said we have cannabis knowledge on this panel, not terrapin knowledge on this panel.
Yeah,
think
we
you
can all
said
make a swing by
cannibal.
the Terrapin Station.
When I was when I went to college at Northern, I had a job where I would give tours around Marquette, and we would go by Lake Superior, and I would say shit like, if you look really closely out in the water, you can see some of like the freshwater whales, and people would be like, are there really whales out there? Like, no, there's not fucking whales in the Great Lakes, but people believed it.
Just on the beaches, folks.
So yes, even if there's giant sea turtles.
So Scobo, now I've learned how to upcycle a straw in 2 different ways from
The
you.
cocaine?
Not the cocaine. The first way was the bottom spoon for the hash, but I suppose it could be somebody
yeah,
else's
dude, I
cocaine
forgot.
spoon.
That was
Yeah.
good straw advice.
I
Yeah.
forgot
But
about
yeah, the bottom slushy straw. I have a pipe tool that has a nice little, probably a snuff spoon or something, I'd imagine. But yeah, that's my keef spoon for sure. But this pipe tool is great, man. It's got a nice little round bottom for packing, and a poker for scraping, and a spoon for scooping, and it's wonderful. Yeah, man.
I noticed that earlier. Like just one scoop's the perfect amount for a joint with that thing. It's pretty cool.
Now the tip is to take your joint and pack the end of it like a cigarette, so you've got like a small amount of just paper, and then stick your joint down in the jar that has your keef, or down in the bottom of the grinder. Give her the twist, put the pack on it, flip it up, hit it with the pen, push your paper down, take off. Don't put it directly in the flame and just burn your fucking keef up, though. Make sure you keep the flame away from the joint when you
And
light
the
it.
resin will plug your joint if you're not prepared. So, depending, use sparingly.
I was
And
doing
if
the
you're following
joint
along
thing.
in chat, hit the live chat instead of top chat, because I just had to do that. Sorry to cut you off, Scobo. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's a great tip that we always fucking forget too. Holy shit, that was so weird. Like, I wish their cameras were different, because sequence reached from one side of the fucking screen into the other. It was the total Brady Bunch thing we've wanted to do on this, the virtual joint pass. You guys have to do it just once. Look cool, trust me.
Yeah, but the thing is like, did you watch on Zoom or did you watch on YouTube? Because they could be 2 different screens.
No, it's backwards. Kate needs to pass it to you so that you get it. That's how that's got to work on YouTube, bro.
It looks like a jar of popcorn, Spartan.
It looks like a jar of goodness.
Like actual popcorn. No, it looks awesome.
That's
I
some
can't
dumb
believe
shit.
you're
really
considering getting rid of that cut, man.
It was smaller.
I know.
Yeah, it was smaller buds. It was like almost popcorn sized buds, but it's fucking fire this time. I don't know the terps, so I'm dropping it. The terps are really nice on it this time, but yeah, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm just tired of dealing with her, to be 100% honest.
Do you get like a bit of a cocoa or slight chocolate scent off of it?
I have, but it doesn't happen a lot. That's one of the ones that's not pronounced.
Yep.
So it's like a lot of people will tell me, they won't even tell me cocoa, they'll tell me earthy. But yeah, you get it once in a while, but I never really got like the chocolate. I never got like that kind of a, it's not like candy bar chocolate, not like that. It's more like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, like the powdered cocoa,
Like cooking chocolate. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
non-sweetened chocolate.
Yeah. And then it was real similar when I grew the slurricane, was real similar to that that type of Gorilla Glue, like the chocolatier scent that we might get off of it. That's what I got off of the slurricane too. I love Gorilla Glue, man. You got a
I'm
nice
so
little jar in your hands right now.
I'm so fucking like thankful to have that in the garden. I really, really am. I was just like looking at it in veg earlier before the show, and I love the way that it has like those rounded, very distinctive leaves in veg. You know how like it comes out and comes around and they're short. You're just like, yeah. I don't even need to look at the plant tags, bro. I can just look in and be like, yep, that's one for sure. So I really admire the plant. And that's what's funny is when you get into this as like, you're like, okay, I'm going to be a medical patient, man. I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to grow my own. I'm not going to get fleeced or bilked by other people on this to try to, heal myself. And so you start gardening. Like in my instance, I'd never grown anything but like a lima bean when I was in preschool in 1977 in a fucking cup of water. So I knew nothing about growing. And through the years, I've just really gotten to the point where I really enjoy growing cannabis, and it goes into my backyard with like an English garden and all kinds of cool shit. And I'm always like digging trees. So, trees beget trees, I guess. There's my diatribe.
Really, because I know that other people now in the group have the cut, that was another helpful thing in my decision to let it go, because, you know, I'm like, it's not completely gone. So if I find myself in a situation where I might want it back, I'm sure I can get it back. But I don't know. It was really the decision was because I wanted to be able to get through more genetics. I look into my seed supply and I see like I got to start popping more seeds because they're building up.
Yeah.
So I'm down to 3 keeper strains right now. I have like 12 or 15 strains right now to go through.
But that's good.
But yeah, but I have 3 keepers. So that's why I'm starting to cut things out, because I need to get through these other genetics.
Who has smoked something for multiple years that hasn't had to mix it up? Abolished, I know you can talk to that point. Eagle, I know you can talk to that point as well, both of you.
Nobody wants to smoke one strain forever.
Not at all, dude.
That's one, you know?
I'll praise my OG all day,
different-
but I'm tired of smoking it. Like, I only smoke it when I need to now. Like, I'd rather smoke my sour melon all day.
You keep it for patients, right?
Yeah, patients can't live without it.
Right, exactly. Now, Eagle, what do you think about that? Oh, I thought I could get him.
He thinks his internet sucks. That's what he thinks.
Yeah, I'm thinking Frontier is for the birds, bro.
We've got a panel question in the chat.
Get it?
Joe Carter asks, so I emptied pots to start a new run and I'm going to reuse this soil. What kind of tips, pointers, and how-tos do you suggest for a new grower? My question is, you said soil, but we need probably more specifics on what kind of soil that is.
Talking peat mix, pro mix? Are you talking like cocoa core? What are we talking about?
Yeah, unfortunately, the first thing I would suggest, you've already gone past that, and that would have been to keep them in the same pots and not dump them out. But yeah, so then I would get a good all-in-one mix. I mean, the best advice I can give you would be to take a sample of that soil and get it tested and go with the suggestions that they give you to amend your soil. Now, I know most people aren't going to do that. So what I would do then in that case is, what I would suggest is, I really like the product BioLive by Down to Earth. It's kind of like an all-in-one dry amendment.
Jill says she started with Fox Farm.
So are we talking about salt reusing this then? Or are we talking about organics? Because that's kind of a deal too. Because if you're just doing like salt base, you could just literally flood the shit out of it. You know, like take a tote, take a wire rack, set it on top of there, put your pot on top, and run fucking 15 gallons of water through there if you want to, until you get like a 0 ppm to like reset the soil. You could do that, and then you're going to be adding all your salt base back in on your regulars. I guess that's what I'm assuming.
Your runoff.
Yeah, the thing is Fox Farms soil is organic soil. You're not going to really flush too much out of that. If you're just going to use that and use, I mean, if you're fertigating your Fox Farm, like you're giving it some kind of a fertilization, probably other Fox Farm nutrients, I would be using strong enzyme product of some sort. And there's a lot out there, so I don't even want to go through them all, but an enzyme product of some sort, and get that and water that in to your use pile of soil that you have now. That'll get any of if there's any buildups, it'll get that already broke down for you. But other than that, I mean, you can reuse it just like you did before. The thing that you're going to have to worry about is you might have to use more fertilization. You may, I mean, go by what your plant, shows you. But the reason I say you may need
base than there was before.
Right. I mean, the first plant that came out of there probably took something out of there to build it, and you're going to need to replace that with something. So, but if you're already watering out their recommended dosage, you're probably over fertigating anyway. So you might be good. So really just watch your plant, treat it like you did the old soil. Maybe I would suggest add a small amount of aeration, because your aeration stuff your peat tends to break down and compact a little bit more. So you might want a little bit more aeration. And maybe pick something different than what's already in there. So don't go with perlite, go with vermiculite, or go with rice hulls. Yeah, or there's definitely other options. Hydrogen would even work. But put a little bit of that in there to add a little bit more aeration. Other than that, I would say other than that, then you could just use that soil just like you would a new potting soil, and watch your plant. Look, be real careful, be real on it, and make sure that you watch for deficiencies, because I would think that you might run into some because now your soil is a little diminished. But
I
if
would.
you're-
Oh, sorry. I
I
didn't.
was just gonna say, but if you're already watering in nutrients with their liquid line or something, you're giving them nutrient every single time you're watering them anyway, so you might be just fine.
Yeah, and I will say it's not a weird thing to do. People do this all the time. So
Yeah, you be spot on with like what Spartan said right there. But two things to add in there is, yeah, the enzyme's heavy, and one way to do that would be malted barley. You can get a ton of that cheap, and you can overload that to get that going. Because when you took all the soil out of there, you broke up a lot of your network in there, and you need to re-inoculate that. So adding some worms in there, hitting it with some enzymes, and then re-inoculating, and then maybe even if you're not against cover crop like me, you could run some cover crop on there and make sure it's all good to go, and then throw your cannabis in there. But other than that, you should be fine.
Or some KNF, you could go with a lab, you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
some EM1 or something like that. But you're right, Great White, you can use that. When he was talking about, he didn't want to talk about enzymes. Yeah, you can use the barley the cheap way. One of the more expensive ways you can use is hygrozyme. You can look that up and see how that stuff works. It's supposed to help break things down.
Yeah, and if you're going to be adding stuff, another great thing, if I was going to add anything to your mix to kind of bring it back up real quick, would be worm castings. If you don't have your own to,
Worm castings, kelp, things that are really easy and not going to be hard. You know, you could take that malted barley and make flour out of it and mix that right in with it. You could get some biochar.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can go crazy with, but if I was only going to do one, well, I'll say two. If I was only able to add two things to it, I would do, application of that BioLive, and I would do worm castings.
It's going to cover a lot.
But I would need an aeration too. I would have to do three. I'd have to throw aeration, and I think that would be my bare minimum for still quality at the end.
So rice hulls plus the silica you get from that as it breaks down through cycles, since we're going to keep reusing the same container without breaking the hyphae network.
Yeah, I would go rice hulls if I had a good source of those, but if I couldn't get those, there's other options. And then, then I would do my own worm castings because I have my own worm bin. But if not, I'd probably go Detroit Nutrient Company because they're more local to me. And then, what was the other thing I said? I think
there's one other thing though, is if we go ahead and we reuse that as starting material, remember that it's going to basically be water only in the beginning, because unless you really, really were able to knock a lot of the ppms out of that soil, you're going to try to reuse that for a seedling. And if, let's say that the value in the soil, what's a crazy number that would kill a seedling, guys? If you had like 600 or 800 ppms in the soil, it could kill a fucking seedling.
Well, I'm talking organics, and that doesn't matter.
I don't think it really will kill it. It'll just turn really dark and burn the leaves for a long time.
You could put a seedling in a bag of worm castings, and it'd be fine.
But can you do the same thing with hot soil?
No, and yeah, if you have a nutrient imbalance somehow, like a bunch of super available nutrients,
I'm thinking of it like a salt grower. I'm not trying to think of it like organics.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking salt grower. So if I've got all of these inputs that I've put into it, that I've been watering in Fox Farm, so I've used the trio there, and maybe let's say I used cha-ching and open sesame, and what's the third thing that they have? It's the powdered amendment.
Like cha-ching is some hot shit.
Yeah, man.
I used to use that.
So think about that. If you were to reuse that soil, and he's looking for us to give him some advice, and we're like, no, bro, just keep it in the same pot. Just throw new fucking, clones into it. It's gonna burn the shit out of them.
Not if they. No, I don't think so. if they're still watering at the rates that are on the bottle and not over watering, like not putting more than what's required. I don't think
you have to do a ppm runoff. You have to do a ppm runoff at the end to see where it's at.
And there was synthetics. It's easy. You just measure your ppm, and you're not.
But my point is the organic soil, the second run is going to be less charged than it was the first run. And she had good results on her first run. So
but you and I are talking at cross purposes. You keep going back to organics, and I keep going back to it being a salt-based guy. That's where we're having our hangout.
I was trying to. Yeah, I was just answering the question. I thought she had said she grew in Fox Farm, so I guess I was making an assumption that she grew organically.
I don't know. Have bottles or not.
I would still, even if she was synthetic and she's she's synganic in some way, she's using organic and then bottle newts. Even like if she's following that feeding regimen, yeah, there shouldn't be much left in that soil because she was probably flushing it out, or he or she or whatever. And yeah, I still don't think it'd be much of a problem. But yeah, next time don't empty it out because you just opened up a lot of variables on yourself and took out some cushioning that's normally there if you just replant it in that same pot without breaking up your fungal networks, your rhizosphere, none of that good stuff.
No, I see what Scobo's talking about though, because like he's saying, like there's a lot of those additives that you could be adding throughout bloom, and even on I mean, I see stuff advertised organic all the time, but it's, I don't know, like listen, I don't really buy the stuff or pay a lot of attention, but I see it advertised.
Is it Tiger
like,
Bloom and there's
I know
Beastie?
there's MPKs on it and things like
Yeah.
that, and they're probably in bottles.
It's a
and
synthetic.
like Roots
It's
Organics and things, for example. Like, I mean, I guess if you're tossing a whole bunch of that on there, you could have a high EC or a high, you're going to have an unbalanced mineral composition probably if your plants, you know, what, latent flower, so it's using up different minerals than what you want your juvenile plants to be using. Like, I don't run into those issues in hydro, so I can't really speak on that. I guess that my experience with organic would be a living soil outdoor scenario, so I can't really speak on like how to reuse your indoor stuff. But
Well,
if it were me, I would do what Spartan's talking about and try to take whatever that is and just try to turn it back into something usable, like a living soil.
right.
Like
The
try
cover crop and
to,
everything else. Sure.
I don't want to say flush it, but try to like add those enzymes and things and fungals and things that might go in there and eat up whatever high EC might be in there from any additives you might have, and then work on it from there. But, you know, that might be what I would try to do.
It's
yeah,
nutrient cycling, right, Spartan?
yeah, but it looks. I'm reading the chat right now. It looks like she's using like, it looks like maybe the 3-part line, or
Right. That's what
yeah,
I was
the Tiger
thinking.
Bloom, Big Bloom,
Yeah. So that's synthetic.
and something else. But
It's
yeah,
like a mixture, semi-organic.
yeah, so it's an organic substrate, inorganic feed, but so all your minerals and everything you're going to get in your feed. So yeah, I wouldn't be worried about reusing that at all. Just, yeah, exactly what I'd said before. I don't think I'd change my answer. I think it would still work just great.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is pretty obvious. If you use the same mix 2 times in a row, the second time there's going to be less nutrients because you took a plant out of there.
That's if you didn't basically take the leaves and shit off of the plant and then mulch those in so that
Even
those
if
can
you
break
did,
down.
you're still smoking part of the plant. So
Yeah, something's removed for sure, and that's why I always recommend like the BioLive. That's where it kind of covers. It's got a lot of minerals in it, but it's also got a lot of mycorrhizae in there, and it's also got some NPK in there. So it's kind of like a one-shot kind of blanket coverage shotgun approach. But because I'm saying if you don't have the test results, then you kind of have to take a shotgun approach to try to cover your bases. So that's kind of where my thought process was on that.
And BioLive's not that
Nobody else.
expensive either for a big box of it.
No, it's like what, $10 or something like that. I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood, 10 to 15 bucks, I think.
Yeah, and if you're like soil growers, from my understanding, you want to be in a bigger pot indoors, correct? So you really don't want to just, you know, waste that expensive soil, right? In cocoa and things, we get away with having a much smaller media. You know, I can get away with having a 2 to a 3 gallon and throwing a 4x4 if I need to. But you can't really do that with soil. So I see where you want to try to reuse it as best you can. And where I was headed with that, as I start to trail off, before I trail off, see this hash is already getting me right away. Yeah, I'll come back to that, guys. Cool.
Can't wait for it, man.
hang in there, Red.
Yeah,
I had a point. I swear there was a point.
I think we beat that question right into oblivion anyway, so I think we covered it pretty good.
That's probably what my point was.
Well, she said thank you. I mean, I think she really appreciated the advice.
Honest attempts, at least.
So I was gonna say the chat says I look high, but Red just sounded higher than I look, I think.
I get distracted by little things. I like looked at something off on my desk and I was like, ah, shit. And then, yeah, I totally forgot what I was thinking and where the rabbit hole was going.
Red's
with
down
that.
the K-hole.
It happens, man. It happens. Gosh, dude,
Well, I have
it gets you, man. It's wonderful stuff.
I have a quick update. It'll take like 2 seconds, but I did get my seeds today for the grow off, and they're already in the root right cubes. So I'll let you know when they pop. I'm really excited.
Oh, man, my point was to not be confused if you see somebody growing in small pots and you think that they're growing in soil. If you see somebody growing in small pots and they're throwing huge trees, there's a good chance they're growing in cocoa. That's what I wanted to get at.
Hydroponically, for sure.
Cocoa and usually automated.
Hydro, yeah.
In little pots and big plants.
Maybe not cocoa, but hydro, yeah. Maybe it's hydroton.
I don't remember who told me this, but it was a long time ago, but it's always rang true. And they said it was something to the effect of no matter how good you think you are, there's always somebody out there who's doing, who's warming up or who's warming up with your max, when we're talking about weightlifting. So don't try to compare yourself with other people if you can help it. I know it's kind of a human thing for us to do, but if you want someone to compete against yourself. Oh, this is what I did last time. Write that down. Try to beat that.
Absolutely. Just like working out. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right on that.
Exactly.
If I've ran this plant last time and it gave me 3 ounces and I run it this time and nothing in my environment has changed and now it's given me 4 ounces, what did I do different? So this data becomes something that I can use to not only become a better grower, but a better planter and everything else that goes along with that. So all data is good data.
I didn't hear what you said there, Sequence. What was that?
I was just reiterating that you really want to keep good notes when you grow and be able to look back on what is different from one run to the next, including measuring, like if you measure your ppm runoff every time you water, you'll know that one time it was really high or whatever, and maybe that's why you got half the yield.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm guilty of. I admit I don't keep as good a record as what I should. Everything's in my fucking head. A lot of it is because it's funny because at work it's all business, but when I get home it's just like I wing it. So I sit here and preach things like, "What that was perfect advice, Sequence," but I preach these things, but I don't always follow all of them. I'm just human.
Oh, I don't follow them either, but you should. So I'm gonna tell you.
I just battled through a calcium deficiency. I'm sorry, a calcium lockout probably. Just I was able to finish all my plants and everything, but it wasn't the strongest finish that I would have liked. It was a great overall yield, great overall everything. The terpenes and everything is still there, but a lot of the like sugar leaf material and stuff like that isn't the best, so it's all going to end up getting scrapped. But what I experienced was in the middle of flower, when it was all still bright and green and it was looking great, I did notice that the ppms coming out, the EC coming out the bottom was a little bit high. It was around 1500, and I don't like it that high. I like it a lot lower. I feed it about 750 to 800 around that time. So at that time I started to dial it down. So now I know that I experienced that lockout when my EC was that high at like day 35. My EC can't be that high at day 35. I need to make sure that my EC is a lot lower by day 21 this time. And like day 21 is pretty crucial because you're getting bud structure at that time. And you won't notice like if you measure that like, okay, so I started to drop it and plants looked great, but it was already too late, right? Because a week later is when they start to actually they start to show what they were deficient or what they're locked out in from the week prior, or a couple days at least.
Jesus, that's a cannon you're smoking down there, Eagle. Y'all see that? Hold that beast up, bro.
It's a fucking frustration joint right here. I didn't realize my frontier must have come with fucking rabbit ears and tinfoil to make this shit work.
Thought they'd cut your ass off for fucking shit talking. Oh yeah, we'll see about that, Eagle Gardens.
Your guy's gonna meet you outside, dude.
When it froze up a second ago, it looked like there was a campfire next to him. That joint's so big.
A burning bush.
I wouldn't want to work at Frontier tomorrow when I make that call.
So what's going on, Eagle? We got you.
I'm gonna have to rewatch because I'm only catching like every other word.
He's only catching every other word, I think, is what he was saying there.
So I'm so flustered.
Yeah, man, I feel you.
Us and the Groskies are gonna have to all get together and call Frontier and start complaining.
We just get a big pool of people going and call. Everybody picks a time slot. just shut them right down.
So we had another panel question from Narwhal up in the
I
chat.
can at least hear you guys.
They asked, where did everyone from the panel get their genetics from and why? I don't know if they mean breeder or seed bank.
Okay.
I mean that I got mine from other panel members.
Is everything you're growing from other people on the panel now?
No, I do have the Silver Squirrel Farms Keweenaw Copper. I still do have that one as well. As the, let's see, Spartan has given me the Spartan Glue and the GG4. Abolished has given me Abolished OG, Skunk One, and Sour Melon. Sequence, you've given me Citro Glue. What am I missing? I think that's all I'm running right now. Pretty sure. I think.
Quite the list, though.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've got the OG, like I said, was handed down to me years ago, and then I have genetics from you guys, and then other than that, I have Mantis Genetics is where I pretty much focus all my attention at. That and when 2020 is gracious enough to give me something to run.
I got stuff from all over the place. I'll go through it real quick. These are my keepers anyway. I got my Spartan Glue was a cut that was, I was told it was GG4, but it wasn't. So I just call it Spartan Glue. Then my Blue Cough, which I got as a gift from Subcool, So that one's going to be kept around for a while now because, that one's special to me. Plus, it's just my favorite flavor in the garden right now. I just love it. And then Snow Cane, that's the one for the grow off. So I popped that from seed. Then Berry Fingers was gifted to me by Darren from D's Bags. I got Blueberry Quintessa from Eagle Gardens. I got Crescendo and Sour Melon from Sequence, but the Sour Melon was pheno hunted by Abolished, I believe.
That's right. I forgot the Blueberry Quintessa too. I forgot that.
And then I also have the Abolished OG from Abolished and the Mac 1 from Michigan Matt. So that's everything in my garden.
Oh, I also have the other one too. I have the fucking, what'd you call it? Headlights?
Headlight. Oh yeah, I have headlights.
Yeah.
That's coming up. Yep, that was from seed. I popped that, and that was Average Joe's Genetics.
So bad we have to like fucking get high and try to remember all these things, man. It's like first world grower problems.
I'll answer real quick. I'm running some genetics from Ethos. I'm running some genetics from Oni Seed Company. I'm running Tropicana cookies. I'm running a bunch of cuts from Old Man Hermit Hash. I'm running cuts from Spartan Grown. And I'm running cuts from Eagle. So that's pretty cool. And Abolished, actually, because I have Sour Melon still. So I have to get something from the rest of you guys. I'm running like 17 strains right now.
Yeah, most of the stuff that I'm running came from actually, let me see. Not most of everything. Let's see. I'm going to divide this up probably into thirds. Dispensary cuts from probably 2015. And then we're looking at homie cuts, family cuts from close network of family and friends. And then like recreational state breeder packs that I have pheno hunted myself. And I pretty much have a little mixture of all of that continuously, perpetually running through my gardens.
And now you make your own seeds. So you're probably gonna be running some.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I got some of my own seeds that I want to run.
Which I did that too. I grew my own cross. So this year I'm gonna grow some of those out and see why not, right?
What was that cross again? That was that your no, that was your citral.
Crescendo, but I pollinated it with pollen from Mantis Genetics, Royal White Cherry, I think it was called. It's Deep Chunk F12 and White Cherry Royale, I think, something like that. So,
Oh, I think that deep chunk is known for being a big yielder.
in
So,
purple, I think. I wrote down the cross, so I'm not lost on what it is, but I'm excited about it.
Well, you know, with the grow off, you know, that we got going on, it's going to be nice to be able to share clones there as well at the end with people. And maybe if we find out what everybody's got in their garden, like, oh shit, man, I've only heard about this. And maybe you could do some hornswoggling with somebody else on something.
yeah, Shredder in the chat said that it reminded, I think he's talking about Crescendo, it reminded him of Bubblicious, which I think that's an old Nirvana strain, like their take on bubblegum.
I didn't get any bubblegum off sequences. Like I'd say that's one of the most pineapple-y strains I've had this year. Like a king palm.
The Crescendo?
Yeah.
The
Is
pine.
that what you're getting off of that? I get like a really lime, but maybe it's pineapple. It's something like on that sweet citrus, man. I don't know. Maybe it's a mixture of the two. It's like margarita.
Grapefruit.
And I've had margaritas with pineapple and limes and oranges. And it's like, and I'll tell you what, I wish I had my bag here. Miss Red has it, and she's dog watching at her parents. So guess what? I can't sniff it right now. But dude, she loves the Crescendo.
It's got mandarin cookies in it, so it's got orange cookie terps. So it should.
Do you guys remember when we met up at Burnout and Sequence brought the 2 and the 6, I think it was back then. And so Spartan, I remember it was you and I were both smoking with them together. We were saying how
like 5 phenos, but we had narrowed it down.
We narrowed it down to 2 and 6, and number 6 was more grapefruity at that point. So it's interesting if it's turned over from grapefruit into a pineapple thing as the cure has gone on. That's interesting to think.
Well, the grapefruit number 6 was a citral glue, and I think it still holds that even today, as I've grown it out another 2 times. Definitely. Tara says she tastes clean water when smoking the Crescendo, which is cool because I grew that with well water and didn't have to worry about, a bunch of city chlorinization and all that stuff in there. And also it's synthetics, so it shows that I balanced it pretty well and didn't trash the bud.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to try mine. I actually have it 1 week in the flower right now.
Yeah, sweet.
Mine Crescendo is where the hell am I on this thing? Yeah, oh shit, I'm already 2 weeks in, almost 3 weeks in.
Yep. My citral glue is on day 47, I believe today is.
Oh yeah.
Really fucking nice because as I look at all the different plants, especially growing in the 4x8 bed, like all the plants kind of like grow into each other to a degree. I mean, you keep them like out of each other, but you can really notice the difference in the frost factor on the different strains that are in there. Like they all flip the same day, and just the differences in there. You're like, holy shit, man, this one is clearly far and away showing frost earliest, and it's also showing it furthest out from the edge of the bud. I mean, walking out onto, create tacos on leaves and things like that. So that's, to me, that I don't know whether it's true or not. I've always thought of that as like a good sign of genetics for me.
So a cool thing to note about the Crescendo as we go into the outdoor season, this isn't something that's really relevant to people growing indoors because we don't really care, but it goes into flower really early in the year. So well before it gets to 12/12, that plant will start flowering.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that.
Even though it's like a 70-day strain, it flowers in plenty of time in Michigan. It did for me last year. So it started really early, and it still finished roughly the same time as like the other stuff I grew, more indica stuff. So that was really cool. We don't ever notice that indoors because we always just flip to 12 hours. But some plants will flower at 14 hours, and that's one of them. So it was really cool to know up here.
I wonder which side that's coming from on the genetics.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way indoors because I was messing with my DLI and I had it down to like 10 hours off. And yeah, that flipped. I actually had to cull a few strains because they
Oh,
went
shit.
too far in the flower and got off schedule. But that one reverted just fine. It actually reverted really quick.
That's an important thing to know when you're growing stuff outside is like when it's going to go into flower. That's really relevant in a place like Michigan where you don't want plants to grow late into October and November.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to do some autoflowers, I think. Try to guarantee that shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can get away with it in my backyard. So, sorry, neighbors. Give it a try.
Sequence, didn't you say something about a Dominion seed skunk at some point this week?
Granny skunk. So I got gifted granny skunk and what else did I get? Something else by Riser Rich on Instagram. He's from the Illinois Consulting Company. I don't want to butcher your name, so I'm sorry if I did that. It's ICC. But yeah, he's been really cool. I'm growing out one of his strains right now. So he hooked me up with some other seeds that I was looking for. And one of them is Granny Skunk by Dominion or by Duke Diamond from Dominion. I really like those guys, so I'm excited to grow that one for sure.
Yeah, I really want to see what those turn out like and how it smokes, man. That'd be because they really work with the skunk lines if you start looking at their catalog, man.
Yeah, and Dominion is one I've really been looking at for pine strains. So they're notable in that way too.
Well, what are you seeing over there for pine strains?
So I'm really, really interested in just looking at their stuff. They just have a lot of stuff that tests in pining and skunky strains and really, really neat stuff.
Yes, good. Well, that was me talking about the Dominion when I was perusing the what was it, Speakeasy Seed Bank catalog. They had
Yeah,
just
that's what it
dropped
was. Yeah,
some
man.
Dominion, and they had a handful of like a backyard skunk or local skunk, I think was one of them, and they had some like headband crosses and some chem crosses and stuff. So
Headband skunk, man.
I grow a lot of the ethos plants, and I don't have any problems with the buds or anything. But when you tell people you grow the plants, people are like, ugh, ethos or whatever. So I'm trying to pop some other
I don't know why though. Like, have you tried anybody's ethos gear that sucked? I haven't.
It's not the plants. It's just that people don't like Colin that much, which is unfortunate. But like I said, I'm trying to pop some other breeder stuff just to kind of diversify a little bit. And Duke Diamond is definitely one that I'm really respect a lot and I'm looking towards doing. Similar like when Colin speaks on breeding, he sounds really smart. Duke Diamond is the same way.
I've been lucky enough to catch a couple of his talks for sure, man.
I don't know if you know Skunk VA. He's the other half of Dominion.
right
He's a really cool breeder, and I really respect like the amount of information he puts on his seeds, so that he gives you he sets you up for success. He's giving you all the information, what to look for. So I think that's really awesome. The dude seems like I haven't met him in person, but I've seen like you guys are talking talks and stuff. He seems like super easy and down to earth to talk to. He just seems like another pot grower, man. He seems cool as hell. So yeah, I would be totally down to support the guy for sure.
Skunk VA is the reason why my name is Sequence MI on Instagram, was because Sequence was taken, and I was like, Skunk VA is kind of neat, and I want to rep Michigan every time I post, so that's what I did.
A little bit of the lore brings to the forefront. Nice.
Yeah.
It's always cool hearing those backstories on people's names. I find it interesting.
Interesting. Fred, your background looks very Jimi Hendrix fucking Are You Experienced? Oh, especially when she gets bright like that.
if I move forward and dim the light a little bit, it gets dim. And then when I go back, it brightens back up. And then if I move back further like that, I smash it in my turntables and break everything. So I'm gonna try not to do that again.
So I know it's still early, but I kind of talked to Abolish about this a little bit earlier, but what does anybody have any kind of plans for Hash Bash other than were thinking about showing up? Are we anything past that yet?
Dude, I was gonna get a hotel room and do all of that stuff, but we all broke the bank this weekend trying to plan our honeymoon. So we got Rolling Stones tickets instead. So we might not be doing
we
that.
want to
Or
meet up at the
regenerative
deck,
conference,
people,
unfortunately.
and have like a big smoke circle with Groskies and stuff.
Red said Mick Jagger's more important.
I didn't say he was more important. I said our honeymoon might be more important.
Shout out to Miss Red Setter Farm. We love you.
A shout out to her because it was totally her idea to want to get tickets to go do that for the kickoff to our honeymoon. We're also going to go do some other stuff, but
It was really cool, like to see her, you know, when we all had our get together and stuff. I thought that was fucking great, man. So
hey, if you're doing any planning and scheduling anything, do it now before it gets any further into Mercury retrograde, because I'll tell you what, it's already hitting shit's hitting the fan already, man. Trying to plan fucking this during this fucking season, of course.
I don't know what that means, but
so
my heart goes
we can
with
talk
you.
about it in chat or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's Mercury is officially in retrograde February 16th, which is today, and it's going to last until I think March 9th, and just shit goes haywire when you're trying to plan travel and things. But this is all astrology and things like that. We don't have to get into that right now.
That'll be this Saturday.
Miss Cleo.
But I was actually gonna say on that right there, I don't want us to go over the plan right now because I need to check on the logistics if we can do it this way. But I have a plan if it works after I check the rules to where it'll be extremely affordable for everybody in the crew to make it to that.
Well, like we could go. We don't necessarily have to go.
Technical difficulties.
Just making sure you guys are awake out there.
Kate left her mic open. Sorry. I say we don't necessarily have to go to the event and spend a bunch of money and do that. We can just hang out on the Diag and just smoke with a bunch of people. We don't have to go sit in that smoky room. And
Exactly.
You can go walk and stand right in the grass, right at Michigan, you know, and just stand there and talk to people. Wear your gear, wear your hats, pull your bong out. I talked to cops and smoked a joint last year. It was super surreal. You watch people get hassled for trying to sell stuff when they're setting up tables and canopies. You know, the cops would come up and be like, listen, you can't, you know, set up. We don't have a, you know, permitting for this or whatever. All they do is tell people to move to the sidewalk. They don't arrest anybody. It's a really chill event. Really, really awesome to hang out there.
Now, keep in mind, I did keep Hash Bash Day open. So the Rolling Stones are not during Hash Bash. That's not until June. So we are going to be at Hash Bash. We're just
so you just can't do it large. Okay.
We just can't do it big. Yeah, we just can't do it big time. We can totally do the cheap like hangout stuff. We could probably even get into the hotel and maybe do some hangout, whoever's vending and stuff like that. We'll see. I dig all that stuff.
The hotel part is the where they have the actual cup, I guess they call it, Hash Bash Cup. That you have to buy a ticket to be able to get into that. So that would be, you know, an expense too if you want to do that part of it. And it's not right there. I mean, it's a drive away. So
yeah, think about parking also, and possibly, I don't know, are they doing like shuttles or something this year? What was that?
When I went, it was for the first cup, but it was a couple of years ago, and they did have shuttles, but it was far from a perfect system, I guess. I'll just say that.
Whenever you hear shuttles, never expect it to be a perfect system. In case anybody ever wants, especially when you're dealing with anything that has to do with music or festivals or anything like that, cannabis. Maybe your work party shuttle went well, and you're like,
which
bachelor party shuttle went well, but you're like concert, like, yeah.
That one went really, really well, I thought.
Which one were you talking about?
Vehicle City has shuttles sometimes.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with well, I think it was the second High Times we went to, the bus shuttling around there. That was good. It was fun too.
What's your guys' opinions about High Times events this year? Man, with rec being open, I don't know if I can stand in lines for that damn long.
Have you seen anything? Have they disclosed locations or maybe?
I haven't seen anything yet, really.
Me neither.
No, I haven't seen anything for What's the first one? The Kushstock either. I've seen ones for Kushstock, California, but I haven't seen Kushstock, Michigan, which was 420. So interesting.
I mean, it's already I've seen later festivals in the season already announced, so you would imagine that it would already be announced by now if it's
Weird.
if they're serious. Yeah, like I mean, much smaller level festivals have already been announced.
It'd be cool to have a press pass so you could at least skip the line, you know?
Oh shit.
Yeah, for
Love the
sure.
cost or anything like that, but the line is brutal, especially if you're going to be carrying equipment and stuff, and hopefully get in with it. You know, it'd be nice to be able to take a camera and not have to worry about that stuff.
Exactly. Possibly set up and record something. You know what
It'd
I mean?
be really sweet to have like a booth or be able to set up and record. I know it's really expensive or anything, but hey, you know, shout out the what is it, the t-shirt sales website? What is that? Streamlabs? Streamlabs, you can get it.
If anyone wants to donate to the show or buy some merch which supports the show,
We need a Patreon.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll be able to get a booth or something with ease. Be able to record and catch all you Groskies and Frugal Force lovers out there.
he says.
Yeah, they really do need to develop a better way, or at least I know it's a safety thing. We gotta make sure nobody's carrying any weapons or anything they don't have, but we gotta like try to get more security guards checking or some way, because those lines are ridiculous. Like if I wasn't judging last year, I probably wouldn't have been there because I can't do 3-4 hours in line.
Well, yeah, the pro tip is don't go on Saturday, which sucks because that's the first day. But I mean, those Saturday lines, remember the first cup in June where you guys were out at the fucking road waiting? I think, was it you, Spartan? And did you get in or did you not get in? It was one of those.
Oh, I got in. I'm not going to wait in a line that long and not get in. I got in.
Who was it you abolished that didn't get in? Somebody did. I can't remember who the hell it was.
Yeah, the first day of the first cup, we just ended up turning around and we were judges.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, I remember somebody had that.
Because we had like a good half an hour wait just in the car before we got to park and then wait in a line.
And it was hot as fuck, remember? Like crazy fucking hot. Like on that Saturday was a blazer, bro. Sunday was like the next day, it was like fucking 20 degrees.
We got right in Sunday too. Sunday was beautiful. I don't know what the hell happened Saturday. Like I guess everybody from out of state comes on Saturday and it just was overflowed.
Shit. Dude, I walked through the fucking service entrance and was rolling.
Gilbo sent us a video, man. He just walks right in. Holy
shit.
Dude, I valued at that cup. And when we were going to check in, the chick ran the card wrong to pay our last, like, I don't know, however fucking much that shit costs. And she did it wrong, like rapid fire 3 times in a row. So the bank froze the account. So we'd like step out of line and sit on the phone with a bank for like 45 minutes to get the card working again to pay before they would let us in. That whole thing was a fucking shit show.
Yeah, because when we seen you at Burnout is when we met you, Kate. And you were like having a better time there than you had at the cup you were talking about. I remember that.
For sure. Going, like attending them is always better than vending because you get to like enjoy it and see people. Like I'm sure I talked to some of you at the Cannabis Cup and don't remember it. You know, you're just like fucking all adrenaline out and super high and like
you can't take it personal. I mean, goddamn, how many thousands of faces would you happen to see through the weekend as if you run a booth? Think about that yourself. How many people would you have met?
And like it's weird for me because obviously people can easily know my name because it's my Instagram tag. They know what I look like because I put my face on there. So people come up and be like, I follow you on Instagram. I'm like, okay, like you know, like your face isn't anywhere on your Instagram. You're not telling me what your Instagram name is, so whatever. But I mean, lots of people just don't realize that at first, and then whatever. So it's a cool way to meet people, though. Like that's how I got hooked up with you guys. So very neat.
Yeah, I mean, I love being able to go to events and be able to socially smoke with other people. I mean, that's just great. And we're going to be able to do that more with these little social clubs start to opening up and getting, and I think that's kind of where more people are going to want to be headed. At least in my opinion, that's where I'd rather be in a social club all day than
I'll tell you what, after
I
chilling
pick
at
up.
that house lately, it's so much more fun. You just walk in there, chill with your friends, do what you were gonna do anyway. Most of what the cup is like a swap meet anyhow. And after you've been to like one or two of them, unless you go with a bunch of money, it's not that much fun, you know. And you're just waiting to go chill with your friends and smoke anyway. So you can do that at somewhere like the Dab House or the Vehicle City and really enjoy yourself and don't not have to stand in a 3-hour line to do so.
Yeah, I really think that's where the industry is going to move. It might take a while, but I think that's where it's really at. I mean, social establishments. But man, here we go again. The government is just kind of dumb about it. Like in where I work, the township where we work, they are making it so only industrial zoned areas could have social clubs. It's like, I had drive past 4 fucking bars to get to this, meeting. But you're worried about what? And it has to be in an industrial zone? It's just.
And it's got to be in a green zone, which there's only like a handful of throughout the entire state of Michigan. I mean, this is a big state.
The boundary in itself,
Michigan's a
somewhere in
huge
the middle of
state.
nowhere.
There's like a couple dozen green zones out of 1,700 something counties. Like 2/3 of them are like strictly opted out, red zoned, no businesses.
But
They
as
don't
we've
even
said
want
before,
medical.
that could change though.
It's gonna change. We all know it will change. One at a time. It'll slowly start changing. It'll work out. I'm optimistic. I just have to talk about it as it is now.
I mean, let me just ask you this question, Eagle, is if I'm up north area, what are my options up there if I'm trying to get anything?
Is there any dispos or anything up there?
Not
see a
much.
couple advertised.
There's no social club.
That fucking blows, man. That's a considerable portion of our state that's like, hey, great, I hear you guys talking, and anybody that lives, below the southern point of the state, sure, you've got options. You can go to Ann Arbor, you can go to Lansing, you can go to Detroit, you can go here, you can go there. But I mean, if you go up towards Traverse City, what is there? That's a huge area. There's tons of people there.
Traverse City is the option. As you're going north, your options pretty much fall off around Bay City, unless you're willing to go up into the west. And then Traverse City, I guess, is your next spot.
But basically everything from the thumb.
And I just want to say one other thing. Why I've got a little man, I feel about on my internet tonight. This should have been a replay game. Every time I disappear, you all have to do it.
I go hunting up north, and I have seen a couple of Wild Eagles trying to get connection, and then I'll shut up as soon as he does. Got it?
This is the only way I.
Oh,
killing the video could help though. Maybe if you just go for an audio signal, it won't break up as much.
I've seen a good couple road signs up there for medical dispensaries. I don't know, maybe Gaylord or something, I think was the city on them or something. So I know there's a couple up there.
So what do you think is a feasible distance that somebody who wants to have access to the plant should be expected to drive? 60 miles?
Yeah, I was gonna
100
say
miles?
50 or 60. 50. I mean, that's pushing it though. That's a pretty far distance. And
I think it's an absolute outrage that we're in a medical state and people in some parts will have to drive an hour to find like some kind of diversity or a good deal, or they're stuck paying the $25 a gram in their whatever their county. Like, this is ridiculous. We need to green up.
Well, I think we all advocate for home grow. I mean, that's the real answer. That's what people should be doing.
I was just gonna say, I lived in the Upper Peninsula for like a decade, and there's not options for like a whole bunch of shit, like places to get clothing, places to get like fucking anything. You know what I mean? So like, the fact that it's like a desolate goddamn wasteland is like a thing that you accept about living there. It's not like, you know, I mean, they are being deprived of everything except fucking pasties and goddamn antiques, but still, they know, you know what you're in for when you live up there.
And growing your own is the answer, but we also got to remember that like it normally takes a few years before you can like supplement yourself with 12 plants. I'm sorry, that's not enough for a new grower to
Yeah.
keep rolling.
Yeah, it's a good amount of moms. I like that amount of genetics to hold. That's always fun. Nice variety.
Bilbo, I almost killed you.
Why? What'd I do?
It'd be cool if plants that they counted might be flowering plants. That'd be cool.
Oh, just laughing? Yeah, man, that shit fucking cracks me up because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, here's a fun fact. I wonder. I'm not picking on him, but a troll wants to know what the Yoopers have to do. Like, how far is a Walmart away from you? Especially if you live in the extreme western part.
Well, one of the Yoopers had
Had
to
to do to
try to get medical cannabis up there. There was no access anywhere.
Oh yeah, that's right, man.
I'm just gonna say what everybody's thinking. What are you worried about if you're living in a desolate area? You think the cops are knocking on your door every day? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I just mean access isn't like, how far do I have to go to be able to buy a bag of fucking cannabis so that I can get right?
True medical patients do not have the
Just-
system,
Just drive to the nearest fucking wherever you get cell signal and order some shit online and have it delivered to your house.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with like the wilderness stuff. I mean, chances are if you moved up into the wilderness, you know what you're getting yourself into. You're moving a far distance away from most civilized life, including Walmarts and dispensaries and things. I can totally respect that.
The older I get, the more that becomes like attractive to me. Like more property seems better than less. You know,
Off-grid living is very popular right now.
I'm not trying to like build a fucking cabin out of like recycled tires and shit, but you know, I would like to not live on like a busy road, and I would like to have some property where I could do an outdoor grow and not worry about getting fucking murked.
I want to shout out to Shredder 911 in chat. He says even if you're out there in the wilderness, so Skillbo might show up on your front door knocking on it.
I love, man.
Shout out to the OG Groskies that know that story from a couple months ago already.
Yeah, that means he's been paying attention to the show. I love it. You guys got to go back and check out when we talked about going to the Old Man Hermit Hash Bash.
You just have to be cool as the other side of the pillow when shit goes fucking goofy, man. Don't get like panicky and stuff. You smoke way too. Yeah, I smoke way too much fucking cannabis to like freak out about something. I'm always going to be cool about it.
What a great story, though. You were like, I made sure not to walk up carrying weed and stuff, you know, and it was probably good. You thought the whole thing through, and it was for the best.
Oh yeah, that was the Flanks Gling Bling episode.
Flanks
episode 19 or something like that. 21. Glenbing. Sorry.
So
where's Old Man when you need him? I'll tell you what.
In the chat, Marwell just says that he grew up in Garden, and Garden is like a peninsula that dips down into the lake, and that's actually pretty prevalent for having a lot of big areas of outdoor grows. So that's cool. In the Upper Peninsula, that's kind of known as like an area of weed production. So it's not like they don't have.
Oh yeah.
You just gotta like.
I just meant from like
a. Know whose uncle to call, you know.
I meant from like a state, like making sure that people have access to. Since you want to regulate these fucking programs so much, then you have to like also look into like making them available to people within a certain distance, just like you would a hospital.
Yeah, you can't beyond the supply of, say, the flower itself. Like, if these people that have to drive 2-3 hours, what if they need RSO? So you're saying every person out there, unless they want flower or something that's easy to grow at home, you know, they have to drive 2-3 hours to get it. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's just, it's something to think about.
You know, yeah.
Need it to be like Canada, where we can mail it to each other legally. They can do that up there. They can mail packages of weed to each other.
But I'm saying, like, there are areas in the Upper Peninsula where, like, there's not even a grocery store. There's like a general store, and they'll get like a single head of lettuce, and they cut it into 4 pieces and then saran wrap it. So, like, if you get there on Monday, when the head of lettuce gets there, you might be able to get a quarter of it.
That's
But
fucking
like,
wild.
so there is not access to shit. You know what I mean? It's not like they have all, you know, access to everything else. Like, it's like if you need medicine, you gotta like fucking order it and plan ahead because it's not coming there all the time. So
I'm gonna sound like an asshole, but I mean, come on, you kind of did that to yourself. I mean, it's not a secret when you move out that far. You're moving away from all the shit. Well, there's a a downside to that too, and it's exactly what you're describing right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean when I say, you know, if you're, I suppose you could be stuck in, you know, you're kind of trapped in that position where you can't, you know, you have to be, or I'd imagine you like that lifestyle or whatever. Or you
It's
choose to do
access,
that.
man. I'm trying to be
I
like
agree with the
equal
access
access for
thing.
people,
Trust me.
man. That's all it
Absolutely.
comes down to.
No doubt, dude. Absolutely.
To me, it sounds like heaven.
100% on board with access.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like heaven to be able to live in the property that is like miles from other people,
I'm
and
with you, yeah.
yeah, and you know, and I could say support myself on with just growing my own plants on my land and all this. But at the same time, I do like internet connections, and I do.
Yeah,
I do,
no shit,
you know,
right? Yeah.
So, and I have a job that kind of ties me to a certain area. So, yeah, there's. I mean, we all
I
make our
think
sacrifices.
Yeah, I mean, totally, man. We definitely got to be thankful for technology.
What do you got,
Gotta be
you hear
Eagle?
me?
Ahead.
I just wanted to add
speaking
to can you hear me? Anyway, I switched to my
Yes.
mobile.
Yeah, you sound good.
I just want to throw on that being desolate would be a little bit better for at least me if I were a little further south, I guess, and desolate. Being northern when in this cold where you're like locked up all these winter months blows. I'd rather be desolate downstate where not as much snow and a little easier travel. I don't know. Being up here is nice, but it does, you know, it's great the first year, but once you start, you know, traveling all the time for everything, it really starts to wear on you. So that's just my aspect of living up here in nowhere. It sounded great in the beginning, but I'm year 5 into it, and I'm no better now than I was the first year.
Land is
on that.
cheaper.
Yeah, that's kind of the route I was going. Is like it sounds great, and it would be great if you were like self-sufficient and you didn't have to
Yep.
do all that traveling and doing all the things. Otherwise, you know, it's just too big of a sacrifice, I think, at least for me, at least in my life and in my situation.
Yeah, or like having to drive an hour to work every day. Well, an hour to work is different than, let's say, something different than that. Like, and I don't mind driving an hour to work, but if I had to drive, what's an hour and like highway on the miles is like what 100 miles or something. Like
75.
that?
Damn, how
75
fast you
miles,
drive,
something
bro?
like
You drive 100 miles an hour?
that. Sometimes you got
miles an
to.
hour, brother.
We're talking about 75, bro. I'm trying to keep it so you can keep a license.
I've tried to do math while rolling a joint.
No, what you're rolling was an old ass Ford fucking Focus, bro, that probably smells like toenails if you get it above like 90 miles an hour.
You have no idea what that car does when it goes above 90 miles an hour.
Smells
Everything
like
starts to
toenails,
shake, rattle,
man.
and roll.
Is that
You
car
ever- no,
above 90 miles an hour?
No,
No,
it doesn't
listen.
go above 90 miles an hour.
No, listen. Have
I
you
can't
ever fucking
that.
used like a Dremel on like dog's toenails before? There's like this really weird like plastic burning smell. It's just a fucking awful thing. Anyway,
I know what you're talking about, but I've never done it.
no, that's the smell of your car right before it's gonna fucking take a shit on you. And believe me, like those Ford
People's
Focuses,
been there
bro.
before.
Dude, my son
People's
had
been in,
one,
like,
man.
a 7 Chevette that's going 100.
Wait a minute, hold on. Like OG Skilbo rolled an 82 Escort in like 1989 when I got my license. So yeah, man, that car would do 81 miles an hour, and that was it. You could drop a cinder block on the gas pedal; it didn't fucking matter, you know. So it was.
Well, yeah, it was like
shitty.
50 cc's and 2-stroke.
It was totally, man. It wasn't a 4-cylinder; it was like a hamster cylinder.
It's got a governor on it. The car won't, you know, the computer won't even let it go past like 85 or something like that. But if I
Governor,
went past
birth
75,
control, it's all the
same. If I went past 75, I'm gonna lose my suspension just because that is already rattling.
Dude, the other day I went to a Habitat for Humanity and there was a fucking pull start vacuum pump. And I was like, just amazed by it because I don't know how often any of you use those, but they're like already fucking finicky shitbag machines. And like, I just can't even imagine trying to pull start a vacuum pump.
Oh, dude, that's a bummer, man.
Like, what a relic to find.
Abolished, why are you so noisy over there? We can't get a word in edgewise, man.
Oh, I've been sitting here interacting with chat. They've been going off tonight. Enjoying it. But yeah, that's why I've been distracted, not talking.
We do have an awesome chat, and they have been going talking about all kinds of different topics. Really varied amounts of skill in the growers. Like in the grow off chat, it was pretty interesting to see we had a huge range of skill in the growers, from giant grows down to people growing 4 plants at a time. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that.
Or people growing for the first time.
Yeah, just fans of the show that wanted the seeds and wanted to grow with us for their first time or whatever. Huge honor.
I think that chat's really awesome that you open it up to everybody going in there, because I have a lot of fun. I have to try not to be distracted with it. I have a blast with it. All you guys that are in there, all you growers, cultivators, excellent job at the guys that are people that are showing their plants. You're all doing fantastic work, and I commend you as cultivators. I think you're all awesome. I dig it. And I have a lot of fun in there too. We like to BS, joke around.
You know, a shout out to Chris Mertz. He's asking in chat if there's anything that smells worse than photosynthesis plus. I'm sure is what he means. And
yeah, what is that? The
Grand Devo. The Grand Devo is supposed to be one of the worst smelling things out there, according to some people that have smelled it. I haven't, thank God, had to smell it yet.
What about
BioBiz fish mix?
I'm
Fish mix.
giving that award to fish shit, man. That little sample bottle fucking fogged.
Dude, fish shit is nothing. Fish shit is nothing. I've smelled fish shit. That is nothing. That does not smell that bad to me.
Maybe because mine was warm. I don't know, but damn, dude, that was horrible.
I mean, it doesn't smell good by any means, but I've smelled much worse shit than that.
Fish mixed herbs, man.
I do have 2 younger brothers, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
I used that fish shit. It was great. But the smell wasn't. It was offensive. I didn't think the smell was all that bad though.
Yeah, see, I knew it wasn't crazy.
I guess it's because I don't like fish at all.
Me either, man. I hate fish.
What about products that smell good? Does anyone ever, like, I used to use bottles, and every time I used a certain bottle, I was like, that one smells really good compared to the rest of them.
I'm gonna sound like a fucking recharge salesman, but I fucking love the smell of recharge. It smells like chocolate to me. Every time, like, it's between chocolate and coffee. Every time I mix that shit. And at work, I mix it. I mean, we fill up a 55-gallon drum at a time and mix it, so it's like so much.
Overload for sure. It's like, it looks like cocoa mix anyway.
Yeah.
I love how plant therapy smells.
Yeah, I think plant therapy is pretty good, but there was another one that was like plant therapy. What was the big? Oh, Method. Is it
Yeah,
one?
Method 1 smells so
One
good.
smells-
I used
yeah.
to love sitting in my rooms after spraying that.
Just essential oil sprays, right?
Yeah, dude. If you had a cold or whatever, it'd clear you right up.
Back in the day, I used SM90. And that stuff, you smelled like fucking Fruity Pebbles. It was a pleasure to spray.
Oh man,
That's
if
funny. I
could
had
get
like a
something that
rosemary
smelled like the
oil or
smoke of
something
the
that I
car
always
wash,
thought was.
that'd be
Go ahead. Sorry, man. We were talking at the same time. Do it again, Sequence.
I was just saying that it would be really cool to get something that it smelled like the soap that they spray on your car at the car wash. Smells kind of like Fruity Pebbles.
Just go get you some of that soap, and that's your surfactant.
Fruity Pebbles OG.
Actually, that's a good idea. You could pretty much just use the soap.
I see him getting the Old Spice body wash and shit. Like, I'm gonna smell manly this time.
I'm just gonna start spraying their plants with Axe.
Exactly.
Just start feeding them Gatorade and
Smell like the high school locker
room.
Water with Mountain Dew.
Play a little Limp Biscuit in the background. They'll be ready to go.
Now we're back to like 2003,
The gamer chair.
2004, when we're stashing our stuff with dryer sheets now, and the weeds turn into dryer sheets.
That thing
Fortunately,
called
I never did that. but I have smoked the dryer sheet weed, and that's
What was
gross.
it? Was it called a sploof or something? What the fuck was that? Used to blow into one end. Oh man.
Dude, I saw an ad on Instagram today for one of those, but it was like a professional one and it had some filter in it. But I was like, that's funny that that's still a thing.
It's called a toilet paper tool, a toilet paper roll tube, and a fucking dryer sheet. Make it happen.
It'd be
I used
cool.
to use one.
It'd be cool as fuck if these carbon filter companies came out with those. That'd be fucking badass.
Dude, in college I was an RA and I would walk around and tell people like, don't use those, just blow it out the window. Like now it just smells like dryer smoke and weed. Like or dryer sheets and weed, like just like use that big box fan you got in the window, point it out, asshole.
Put a dryer sheet on your register, you know? Put it on your floor register or something so your room smells like dryer sheets. That always works.
Reg, you know your room smelled like patchouli, man. You know you put like patchouli oil on the fucking
I
dryer
wasn't
sheet.
allowed to burn incense until
Got you, Kate.
out, man.
I
I got in trouble burning incense.
I was just gonna go there. I just bought a whole box of it today.
Nag Champa? Dragon's blood.
This
I got my
dragon
Nag Champa, dude. I'm only allowed to burn it downstairs.
Sick, yeah.
Trees upstairs.
Nag.
Yeah, that's like organic powers unite right there. That was a good
Yeah.
feeling.
Mine's all in the other
Dr.
room. too.
Dankenstein says his bedroom had a bit of funk after he top dressed with fish bone meal. So that'd be pretty bad for the sex life if your bedroom smelled like dead fish.
If it
Fuck.
smells like the wharf, keep on sailing,
Smells like the
sailor.
wolf.
It all depends on what other smell you're trying to drown out, I guess.
If
You're
there's
gonna
death-
do that, you have to get like
drown
the
that out.
you know
That'd
you
be
need
a
to,
Keep on sailing.
no listen you need to get the fucking noise generator in the background where you have like the seagulls and the ding ding of the fucking what do they call that? Oh, the buoys. You know what I mean? They got like the
Like a
bellowing and
tugboat?
shit. Yeah, that's our background sound. We'll make a mood out of this shit. We can serve some fish sticks up for abolished and Spartan, and we'll be right fucking in there. I'll put on the yellow Gordon's fisherman costume, and we'll be in there.
Don't get me around anything.
Oh, we
that
got to do
smells
that
like
Niagara
fish
cruise,
sticks.
the fucking one that goes under the falls and it sprays on the ship.
Is that like the Paddington Bear? No, like the raincoat shit? Yeah, the yellow shit. Kate, you all right?
Kate's not all right. She's making weird noises.
Just really entertained by, some like poor chick from Tinder, like walking into this room. It's like all these like vibrating plastic tents and it smells like fish. Just like some fucking
With seagulls.
Pandora track of like smooth ocean sounds up.
Billy Ocean, Caribbean Queen.
Truly getting burned.
Hey, don't be making
Cover up
fun of
the
Red's
smell.
fucking music, man. He was just listening to that shit yesterday.
Flashback to the dating days.
Dr. Dankenstein, I'm really sorry. I hope none of this actually happened to you.
If nothing else, we make you guys laugh when you watch this stupid shit later on.
I wanted to commend Abolish. It just popped into my mind, but I remembered there's a video you released. It might have been a teaser or something, but great song choice, man. I love that fucking Africa song. Every time, but it's always so short. It's like I'm just getting into it and it cuts off.
Yeah, YouTube is mean to me. It makes me cut everything short. They give me strikes. Mom beats me.
Yeah, we gotta be careful. They're mean to us in lots of ways. We can monetize now, which if we had hosted, which thank you, we got to 1,000
Thank you for
subscribers.
1,000 subscribers, guys. We appreciate it.
Stuff. We can monetize basically none of our videos since all of our content is 18 plus, but we can have super chat and stuff, which if we wouldn't have failed in hosting this, we would have had super chat for this chat. So that would have been cool to see what we could have done with that or whatever. But yeah, thank you for your support and getting us this far in that. And that's really, really cool.
Been a chill way to spend our Sunday nights for almost the last year, man.
Whatever you got going on right now, Eagles,
31
working
weekly
good.
live episodes now, so we're getting close to a year.
I'm playing off my phone. I gave up on the computer and the microphone and all that good shit. Went straight back.
Quality's
to the
way
phone.
better off of
You're-
the internet, bro.
You're good,
Without
bro.
the internet.
Take it.
just go this route for a bit.
Of course, you're probably using your monthly allotment of video time on your phone since you live in the boonies.
No, oddly enough, this is running off the 5G Frontier just fine. So it's got to be the computer that's lagging or causing the problem.
Yeah, very well could be.
Shout out Shredder again. He's saying in chat, we could get Eagle a carrier pigeon with a turbo or with a thumb drive.
There was a study where the carrier pigeon beat the internet in transferring data from one place to another. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I saw that same thing. Some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I wish I would have joined in like this earlier. I got a feeling I missed out on a great show. Can't wait to go
What you
back
got
and
going on in your
rewatch.
garden right now, Eagle? Well, we can hear you.
I've got a little bit of everything going on. I got the Pine Valley going. I've got Mr. Tights, Dominatrix, and Jesus Juice. I'm really excited about the Dominatrix. That's got the face on fire on it, which is a pine strain anyway, and it's coming out in the Dominatrix. I'm super excited about that one. I'm also running Pine Valleys from GMXOG, which is looking very beautiful as well. I'm still running Ethos, Insane in the Membrane, and the OGO. I'm running Mr. Tights, or I'm sorry, Medgrower Ones.
What are you, high?
Super high. That fatty just went out. That big joint
Got
that I
his
was
ass.
smoking. That was my beautiful losers. Got me all tongue tied as well. Super excited about that strain. But Medgrower One's Primal Punch F1 and F2. I'm also running his Skunk Punch and Beard on Fire and a few other things.
I really liked that beard on fire when you had it last time.
Yeah, that's been a great strain. I'm also running Challenger Deep from Shrimp Wizard. A little bit of everything. And to answer the question from one of the people earlier, where do I get my genetics from? Most of my better genetics have been put right in my hand by a grower going, please grow this, please check this out. I do buy some, but most of it's been handed to me in good faith from another grower. Says, check this out. So that's where I get most of my genetics from. But that's what I have going on in my garden right now. A few other strains, but that's the most of it anyway. Got a few LED things going on, but
Yeah, what do you think of that LED light so far that you've been using?
I love it. I absolutely love that light. I topped them plants a week ago, and they've already blew up another 1.5 feet, which has caused me a little delay in flip because I'm gonna either have to cut them back one more time and flip immediately, or reduce the number and go into a scrog, which is another possibility. But that light is totally kicking ass at 640, and I'm really excited to see what it'll do in flower. It's just right now a matter of if I'm going to throw a big plant at it or see what a scrog. But I'm myself. I think I'm going to go the big plant route. Just I like the monsters, and they look good on camera. And I just want to. I think I'm going to go that route. I'm going to pull a couple out and go that route. It might be even just one big plant under that 640 that runs. But it's been a great experience so far. I appreciate them people, Active LED, for sending me that light to check out. And we'll see how it's going to go. Appreciate you asking, Sealball.
Yeah, man, for sure. You know, just like that Pine Valley, I'm really excited to be able to sample that as a fellow pine lover.
Yeah, that maple syrup is what he's telling us the main terp profile of that will be. And so far from stem rubs, I think he's dead on. So that'll be an interesting terp profile to come across. I haven't come across anything maple syrupy yet, but
It makes me think of
definitely,
what you can do with the hash for it, brother. Throw it in some bags and get it real cold and see what you can do.
yeah, yeah. That's another video coming up. I'm behind on that as well, and but as far as the pine goes, the Dominatrix is the one I'm really keeping my eye on right now. It's going to be a good one. I can't wait to pass it around.
That's
I
Empire
hope.
Breeding.
Yep, Empire Breeding Company, Mr. Tight. This round it's going to be very interesting. Me hooking up with all you guys. I'm going to have a whole round of different strains for you guys to try, and I'm looking really forward to passing you guys that beautiful loser. I guarantee you this.
Will you have the time to come down for the Sesh for a Cause that's coming up?
That's where's that at? Downstate on the
At the
22nd.
Dab House in Detroit.
I might be able to swing that. I was planning to go Flemish on the 22nd, but I guess I could travel another 45 minutes south and hook up with you guys. That's
That
something.
is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
I'm looking it up right now. But Eagle, what's the
It's a Saturday.
cross?
What's that?
What's the cross on the Beautiful Loser? I remember you saying it before, and I know that I want it. I just
Was
can't remember what
it was the Winnie.
Yeah, that is Challenger Deep times Winnie, which Challenger Deep Star Destroyer times Wizard's Glue, and then Winnie is Duraband Poison times C99, and that seems to be the traits I'm seeing in it right now. Is the Duraband Poison, grapefruit, and man, it is super tasty. And if we can swing hooking up on the 22nd, I will have some of that for you guys to try out. That would be awesome.
Well, I was thinking since you're on your phone, maybe you could swing the phone over there and give us a little peek-see at what she's looking like.
Well, I don't have any flour.
That is on the 22nd. That's a Saturday. And the Sesh for the Cause, this time they're collecting snacks and stuff for, I think it's Pontiac High School. And the teachers there hit them up and said like, hey, we heard that you do this thing. Our students could benefit from this, which I think is super cool that schools are now willing to affiliate themselves with the cannabis thing.
We heard about that on the Dabcast, which was really cool. So check out their show on YouTube. Check out their page. Kate and I were on their show. They posted or showed that on today at 3:00. And they were really cool, really good hosts to us. So
well, what topics did you guys talk about?
Talked about the grow off. We talked about Kate doing solvent lists. We talked about, what else did we talk about? News in Detroit. Kate winning Dab Wars. Because Kate's an award winner.
Award-winning concentrate creator.
But what's the
That
actual? I know the YouTube channel was something different though. It was like something Detroit. It was
Dabcast Detroit.
Dabcast Detroit.
They were really cool. They had a DJ that was there that hooked up all the mics for us, and we had a bunch of headphones set up. It was real professional like, and nice live recording. It was
So
cool.
it was just you guys at like the bar there set up, and that's
we were
awesome.
at like a table. It was cool to be like actually physically with everybody, because then even when the mic was muted a little bit, you could still hear responses. Like now I can see people laugh kind of when you're muted, but it was a little bit easier to interact with. And I think that they liked too that we were familiar with talking a bunch, so it probably wasn't as much work as some of the other people that they interview, because Sequence was like, yeah, we've done this before, all cocky at the end.
Not Sequence.
Never.
I am really excited for more social lounges to pop up, man. I really am. I know we got trailed off and started talking about other stuff, but when we were talking about social lounges, and yeah, I really want to see some just about everywhere. It'd be really cool. Like, rather than, you got people from coming in from out of town and you want to take them someplace rather than your living room to go, burn one or something. It might not be a drinker. I'm not much of a drinker. Maybe we want to go do something else. Or maybe some of these places will allow co-establishments, and you can smoke a doobie and drink like a glass of wine or something, or have a beer. That'd be really cool too.
Yeah, if we keep
The future.
compounding it up with good causes like this, like you guys had me choked up, hearing that, faculty reached out to them because kids were saying they were hungry. Like it's beyond food supplies. Like that's super sad. I never like to hear a kid's hungry.
But the Sesh for the Cause thing is super cool because they have people come, and I like it because the events are never like, what did Granny say, nut to butt? They're not super crowded. It's just people that come and they're like super giving, and it's like the very generous, nice parts of the cannabis community. And they collect tons of shit for whatever cause they're doing that time. That's where Sequence won that huge basket of stuff, was at a Sesh for the Cause. So like, it's a super cool thing, and it's really awesome that other people in the community know about it and they're getting involved in it or asking for help from it. I think that's awesome.
It's good to be part of something, part of a thing where people give a shit, and give back. It's, more than just a bunch of stoners getting together with another excuse to smoke, I really like that.
Well, it's one of those famous things I always call a win-win-win situation, man. Everybody comes out better on the other side of it.
Yeah, and I hope to see a bunch of people there. I mean, we'll be there, so come hang out.
That's the
Yeah.
same day as the tournament for the hunt with 2020. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to swing it yet or not.
Yeah, I got to work, man, so I cannot be there.
And Granny was saying if you do come, it was what, high school age students. So try to bring some kind of snacks and stuff for those age groups. She suggested, no Twinkies or bad stuff like that. I guess brownies and stuff. But she wanted what? Like she suggested like sunflower seeds, Cheez-Its, but probably like cheese and crackers, maybe some stuff like that. What do you guys suggest for high school ages?
I would definitely suggest stay away from anything peanut wise. That way it doesn't limit where they go, because that's a big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, allergies are huge.
We shouldn't have to tell you this. Come on now.
Say go to Costco and get like
Can't eat
fucking
anything.
the least unhealthy looking like giant tubs of chips and shit. Like those veggie straws and shit like that. Things that you would want to snack on in high school, or shit that they don't get a lot. You know what I mean?
Just remember, it's a sesh for a cause. Most people care.
Exactly.
That was
They're really nice people there, though. You know what I mean? They're doing what they're doing. They're really trying to bring a bunch of people together for, obviously really a good reason. And
Well, I'm huge. Oh, sorry, but into like you support me, I support you back type of people. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they appreciate the people that come out there and they make you feel welcome and like, hey, we appreciate you choosing to come here instead of like,
yeah, it's
you know
the
what I mean?
vibe.
Like,
It's
we're
a good
lucky
vibe.
you're lucky we let you in here type of shit. You know what I mean? They also have super fucking good food. It's like a real thing. If you go there, you just like go to like the back of the bar in the corner. And some dude comes out and tells you what kind of food they have, and everything I've had there has been fucking amazing. Somebody just said tater tots on there, which made me think of, because they have these like twisty. I'm excited for food there on Saturday. Is my point right now.
And that sucks because we've been doing this show for an hour and 50 minutes now. Everybody's been chiefing the whole time, and now we're talking about good food and stuff. So setting us up for
Tell you what, they
some
always
after
have
show,
good
man.
food up at the Dab House. Every time
We're
I've
gonna have
went,
the munchies till 1 a.m.
It's been good food. So shout out to the people that are there in charge of the food.
Yeah, we gotta shout out the chef there. Like I almost asked for a burger to go home because the burger and fries was so good while I was there. And I'm a really picky eater, so if I like your food, it's a compliment.
Well, yeah, and you always have to plan ahead for like stoned o'clock in the morning when tummy tells you it's time to go rummage around.
Stoner J in the chat says strawberry lemonade and leftovers and more eatery. And it's a super nice couple and their food is super good. I didn't try the lemonade yet, but it looked really good.
Yeah, I really liked those guys. I wanted to thank you guys all for another great show. We're at 10:53 here, so we got to round into final shout outs. It was good though. So Red, you're first.
Sweet. I had a great night with all you, everybody, Groskis, Frugal Force, everybody tuning in. I know I always say cheers to the whole chat and everybody, but I really mean everybody tuning in. I know there's a lot of you out there that aren't necessarily in the chat. But everybody, rock and roll. I'm Red Setter Farm. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. Cheers, everybody. See you next week.
You're not in the chat. You really are missing out, though. It's a really cool experience chatting with the people that really share the passion with the plant and the show that we have. Really like those guys a lot. Spartan, you're up.
What's up, everybody? It's Spartan Grown. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me at work at Mintcanico. You can find me on YouTube right here with Michigan Bros Grow Show. Just want to say, love all you guys. This is, I always say this. I always look forward to this, and it's cool hanging out with you guys. And
I appreciate
especially,
how you don't ruin our name when you say it.
do I not ruin it, or do I ruin
No,
it?
you don't, but most people do. So I like that you don't.
Oh, I consciously try to think about it, honestly.
You
'Cause it's
represent
tough.
well. Because when we thought of it, we did not think about saying it all the time, and that was a horrible idea.
And last but not least, I'm always shouting out chat because I'm usually half my attention is there the majority of the time, and they always are entertaining, and they actually drive the show sometimes. You can pick stuff out of the chat, and we start talking about it. So it really is cool, kind of interactive thing, and I really enjoy that. So
Yeah, we have chatters from the UK, 4 in the morning, UK SIF. So thank you for joining us there. Hell yeah. Canna Kate, you're up.
You can find me on Instagram at @thecanacate or here on Sunday nights or on the Dadcasts podcast this week. Yeah, a huge shout out to the chat. It's super cool how many people are in there and how much information we can get from them. Thank you to all you guys for being here every week. I love you guys. Love hanging out on Sunday nights. And I will see you on Saturday, hopefully. No, on Saturday at the Dab House for the Such for the Cause. I know what I said.
You guys still suck because you didn't pass the joint through the window. So
No, we didn't. Eagle, you're up, my friend.
Man, again, a huge thank you to you guys, everybody else for putting up with my ass. Internet, all the bullshit. It's also always awesome to be here through the shitty internet and enjoy you guys' company. It's a highlight of my week. For just like everybody else says, this is awesome. Appreciate you guys more than you know. Looking forward to an in-person visit would be awesome. Sucks that I never get to participate in chat because of the same internet issue, but I'm gonna be working on that because this is getting old for real. And I appreciate everybody and cut it short. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, probably some updates this week. And other than that, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.
Thanks, man.
Peace.
Skilbo, you're up.
Skilbo17 on here, Skilbo1 on Instagram. As always, thank you for letting me be a part of this. And thank you for letting us come into your homes and kick it with you guys and spend a Sunday night. It's become quite the little ritual, man. And I know that it's something I look forward to every week. So love to everybody. Thanks again.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for joining us. We really, really appreciate you spending your time with us 2 hours every week. Time's very valuable to everyone. If you like the show, please like the show, comment, subscribe. If you comment on our stuff, it really helps us out. Share the message with people. Buy a beanie, wear it around. People see that stuff. We really appreciate you guys for stopping out. Have a good night.